Hello, my friends. Jeffrey Shaw here from Grow to Your Potential. Today, we'll be exploring our fourth false belief on our journey towards better communication. As I was preparing for our time together, multiple scenarios from my past kept popping up, and I had a hard time picking one to unpack as a model for this false belief. The challenge is, this false belief can manifest itself in multiple ways and be experienced quite differently from one person to the next. So, rather than give an experience from my past that you may not be able to relate to, I'll describe a couple scenarios for you. As I do so, I invite you to think of one of your past conversations that connects with what I'm describing. If you engage in this way, it will help you see how this plays out in your life, enabling you to better understand and modify your communication. Here's scenario number one. You're having a general conversation with a friend or colleague when there's good back and forth dialogue. Everything's respectful and calm. All seems to be going well until, out of the blue, things take a drastic change. As you're wrapping up a sentence, you find yourself being cut off by an emotional tirade. You're taken aback, wondering, what just happened? Where is this coming from? As you try to engage, things only get worse. Eventually, the two of you part ways. When asked about the conversation later, both of you would describe it very differently, to the point where it's as though the two of you are describing very different conversations. That is scenario number one. Let's move on to scenario number two. This scenario starts off very similarly. As you're engaging in this general conversation, something comes up for you that you want to talk about, something that you feel deeply. This may be something that you find very upsetting, where you've been hurt deeply. Or maybe this is a topic that you're passionate about and get very excited about. Whatever it may be, you feel this deeply. As you bring up the topic, your emotions start to come to the surface. Along the way, you start to feel misunderstood. Perhaps the other person is not hearing you or just doesn't get what you're trying to say. The more you talk about it, the more emotional you get, and yet what you are feeling is not being shared by the other person. They may even be critiquing how emotional you're getting. The situation grows more tense, and eventually the conversation ends as you just shut down and walk away. Thus ends scenario number two. As I describe these situations, I hope you were able to place yourself in them, finding a time where this was real for you. Ideally, where you could feel this being real for you, as this will help you relate to our fourth false belief that hinders our ability to communicate. They feel what I feel. Emotions can heighten our experiences, and when shared with others, draw us closer together. At the same time, our experiences and emotions can be different to the point of polar opposites. Just take clowns, for example. Some people see a clown and they get excited with joys from the past memories. Others see a clown and are crippled with fear from too many horror movies as a child. When this happens, when two people have very different reactions to the same thing, it can be very hard to understand one another. In the clown scenario, the one who loves clowns could easily see the fear of the other as irrational, perhaps even think they're just kidding, rather than appreciating how the other person is experiencing the situation. They may go as far as calling that clown over and then mocking their friend for running away in fear. For some of you, My even mentioning the C word may have had you wanting to hit that stop button on this video. I commend you for sticking this through. The point here is we feel things differently. The words we use can spark very different emotions in people. Some words are more commonly emotionally charged and will likely trigger an anticipated response. Alternatively, some words or phrases that seem harmless or neutral to many may produce a very, very strong reaction in others. If we want to improve our ability to communicate, to understand and be understood, we need to be on the lookout for these unexpected changes in emotion. When the other person's emotional response or passion shifts away from what you would expect, stop. Get curious. Ask questions. Try to understand what they're hearing, what they're feeling and experiencing. Likewise, if you notice yourself suddenly shifting in emotions or getting really passionate about a topic and the other person's not following suit, stop. Ask yourself, what is it about this that you're feeling so deeply? Explore that with the other person. When you follow this kind of approach, curiosity wins over judgment and speculation. When we get curious, we open the doors to better communication. As we do so, we can share our experiences and come to a greater level of understanding of each other. This does not mean we will feel the same way about things after the conversation is over. That would be unrealistic. What we're after here is a common understanding. I don't have to feel what you feel, and you don't have to feel what I feel. However, if we understand where those feelings are coming from, we have a common foundation for guiding our conversation and interpretation of what each of us has to contribute to it. To wrap this up, let me leave you with this. Emotion in a conversation does not have to be a bad thing. Often, it is a great thing to be embraced and valued. It can be a sign that people are discussing topics that really matter, that they're trusting others and sharing what they truly think rather than holding back. To help ensure you reap the benefits of emotions in your next conversation, get curious. Take time to explore where those emotions are coming from. It'll truly pay dividends and help you grow to your potential. I'll see you again next week as we continue our series towards better communication.